Today's show is brought to you by Win the Race, the NASCAR strategy platform built for fans who want more than picks. From 100,000 race simulations and pro-level DFS tools to advanced driver and track analytics, Win the Race helps you think like a race strategist, not a spectator. Learn more at wintherace.info.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the draft. We are at episode 40, the 2026 Daytona 500 edition, and we have none other than Ryan Rance from iFantasy Race joining us tonight, a rare podcast appearance for him. Ryan, what is up? We'll get to Tino and Phil. Everybody knows them, but you've been on a few podcasts over the years, and I'm glad that you'd grace us with your presence tonight to do a fun Daytona 500 draft where there's no wrong answers and you can pick almost anyone, and we'll have a lot of fun with it. So thank you for being on. How are you doing tonight?
Happy to be here. I mean, actually, my very first weekend of ever covering fantasy NASCAR was back in 2009 for One Bad Wheel. And that very first weekend for Daytona, I actually did a phone call conversation podcast thing. So it's kind of going back full circle. From
Yeah, that is awesome. I mean, everyone knows you've been in this space, a long, long time. I had told you before the show that I had messaged you about 10 years ago, and from a different handle, you had no idea that was me when we met tonight. And you were one of the great guys who helped lead me in the right direction and where to find data. So thank you for that. And it's cool to have one of the good guys on the show tonight so we can draft together and have some fun. So thank you for that. What year did iFantasy Race start?
iFantasyRace.com started, I believe, I think it was 2011, or 2012. One of those years. It was a long time ago.
2026 now. That is awesome to see, dude. Thank you for everything that you do for the NASCAR. I know we'll have some guys in the chat tonight I know that have been on your site for years and years. So cool to see you on here. Phil, Tino, my boys, the usual suspects. Phil, how you feeling this week?
I'm feeling good. Love seeing Rory in the chat. Haven't seen him in a while, but yeah, man, this is great. We're back. A real race episode here. I know we did the season long last week, but this feels awesome. We got qualifying going on. At least it was next to me a second ago. Now it's soccer. But just really pumped to get back in. I'm going to defend my throne here with the ring out, and yeah, just let it rip. I mean, like you said, no wrong answers tonight. Really, it feels like, and we'll cross our fingers and see how things work out on Sunday.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just looked over too, and it was soccer. So, first it's the Masked Singer during the Clash, and now we get soccer tonight during Daytona qualifying. So we're just getting crushed here. Tino, how you feeling, man? Good to see you.
Oh, feeling great. Shout out to Ryan for being with us as well. I know, he had a great intro, and my favorite thing, honestly, before every race weekend, I go on wintherace.info. I look at my data, the simulations, and I almost all the time print out the great graphic sheets that Ryan puts out on iFantasy Race that gives me the colors and where to find stuff out. And obviously I do the same with Win the Race, but having you guys both here, I feel energized. I feel like so much smarter because I'm surrounded by some of the best in the business. So I just wanted to shout him out for that and shout everyone else out in the chat. I mean, Team 54 Zach's with us, Sean McBride's with it. They came back. I was a little nervous, didn't pick Logano in the season long, but they want me to pick them tonight. Stay tuned. We got a great episode in store, and I'm really looking forward to it. As Phil mentioned, there's something that hits different about these weekly drafts now, each and every week with the boys on Wednesday night. And one last thing I'll say, and you guys mentioned it too, but NASCAR, once again, back-to-back weeks, putting racing action on, or at least qualifying action on now while we're doing the draft. I mean, that's crazy. They're trying to take our spotlight here.
Yeah, that's funny. You'll be happy to know too, Phil and Tino, that Ryan had showed me his notes and they are printed out. So I'm a big on-screen guy, like I type it out, Ryan, but these guys love printing stuff out, and I saw you had stuff printed out too. So that's great to see.
I was going to do my laptop, but since I'm wearing my blue light glasses, it would have really reflected. So, I opted to do this way.
That's smart. Good. All right. For those that are new listeners to the show, what we do really is we'll kick it to Phil, do a quick race preview, and then we're just going to hop right into the draft where we're all going to draft. I'll bring up the board just to get a better idea of it here. We're all going to draft one driver from each of the teams you see listed on the left here, and then we'll draft one bonus driver from any team, even if they're not listed here, that and a driver that we haven't chosen yet. They'll earn 1.25 times their points. That's new this year. We did not do that last year. We're adding a bonus, a little twist. It makes that pick very hard to try and nail down here because you can score a lot of points in that position and really swing your draft points here. The winner will choose a charity. Win the race will donate to that charity. So as always, it's for a good cause. Phil, we're going to kick it right to you then. Daytona 500. Most people are familiar with Daytona, but if they aren't, let them know what they can expect this weekend.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like this preview, people are just going to be like, dude, we already know this. Let's move on. But yeah, this is a 2.5 mile super speedway track. And what does super speedway mean to those of us in the, NASCAR gambling fantasy world? It's, pretty unpredictable. So the stages this week, 65 in stage 1, 65 in stage 2, and 70 in stage 3. That's 200 total laps they'll be running on Sunday. But before that, things are different. As these guys mentioned, we've got qualifying going on. This is Wednesday night right now. And the way they set the lineup is much different than every other race this year. They're going to find out who's on the pole and the outside pole tonight. And then tomorrow night, Thursday night, they will run the dual races to set the rest of the field. Some guys won't make the race. There's like 8 drivers not qualified for 4 spots. So 4 guys will go home tomorrow night. We've got practice on Friday and Saturday. So extra practice sessions, which is great for us. Just excited to see cars on track. And then the race on Sunday, 2:30. There is weather in the area. We were talking about it right before we started going live here. Looks like we'll start the race and then it'll get interrupted. And from there, who knows? It'll be anyone's guess. But as far as the breakdown, the track stats that we usually do, 157 races lifetime at Daytona, which is just unreal. The pole, the winner started there 27 times, and Blaney did it last year in the summertime. Starting inside the top 5, 50% of the time the winner has started there, and in the top 10, 75%. So as unpredictable as it is, those numbers, I think that kind of trends a little bit more towards the historic races that have been at Daytona. More so recently, it's a little different. Outside the top 20, winner has started there 14 times. Stenhouse in 2023 won the 500 from outside the top 20. And manufacturer trends, since the next-gen cars come around, it's been an absolute slugfest between Ford and Chevy, 4 wins each. Toyota has been left out in the rain. They have not won since Hamlin in 2020. So those are the stats that I have for Daytona heading into this week.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. It's just a very super volatile race. I mean, Blaney starting on the pole, winning from the pole, that has been very rare more recently. Just in this car, everyone's, so much closer on speed and harder to pass, but should be a fun race. I mean, it's Daytona. I mean, we're all just excited to have a race count again. So I know we'll all be watching on Sunday and should be a lot of fun. All right, we'll kick it right to the draft here. I'm going to go to Tino to lead everything off, and then we'll kick it to Ryan because we haven't heard from these guys in a couple minutes here. And we're starting with 2311. So, again, you can pick anyone on the teams. If someone else has already picked it, you can pick them as well, Ryan. No limits here as far as how many. We can all pick the same guy. It doesn't matter because we'll be different. There's so many picks throughout the draft. We'll be different one way or another, I'm sure. And then I'll just kind of mark it off as we go. And then after the week, we'll score it. Winner will pick a charity. We'll donate. Boom. Tino, kicking it to you. The first pick of the weekly draft shows in 2026. Who do you got for 2311 here?
Oh, let's go. I just felt like a lot of pressure hit me, and I love that because that's what makes this game special each and every week. And I'm trying to get a leg up on you guys, trying to create the pressure into a diamond with this pick. And I'm going to be going with Tyler Reddick. I feel like most times Bubba Wallace would be the driver here. He's normally known as potentially the better super speedway option out of this camp. Now, also important to note, since we're talking about 2311, the team specifically, Corey Heim racing in this one as well. So it's good that you add another guy. And it's funny because that other guy in Heim is already better than the 4th option in Riley Herbst. But sticking with my pick in Tyler Reddick, my reasoning there is he's just been there at the end. I feel like when it matters most in these super speedway races recently, he's gotten better at there in terms of racing at Daytona. He won a duel a couple years back, and I noticed that. And then the same year he won at Talladega. Now he hasn't had the similar success as of late, but no one can at super speedways. It's about consistency in terms of who's there at the end, who can avoid the wrecks, and obviously some of that involves luck. But for a driver that I don't normally go with here, pivoting to Reddick over Bubba Wallace, I feel pretty good about that one going into this one at Daytona.
Nice. I love it. Yeah, I was loving Reddick on some drafting tracks last year. He'd find himself up near the front, leading some laps and contending with those guys. So great pick. Ryan, we're going to kick it to you. Who do you got here for 2311?
Well, I'll go with the low-hanging fruit on this one. But last year, 2311 went 5 for 6 at wrecking. But the driver I'll go with is the driver who was 2 for 2 at being a top 10 contender. Last year, Bubba Wallace was wrecked while running in the top 5 in the summer, was wrecked while running around in the top 10 late in the Daytona 500. Bubba Wallace is, a super stud here. I mean, well, I won't say a super stud, but, and also in the Daytona 500, he had the 5th best average running position, led 18 laps. But one of the things I like about him is his level of consistency. Sure, he wrecked in both races last year, but overall in the next gen, he's 5 for 8 at fishing in the top 12. And minus his 3 wrecks, which, all 3 of them, he was in the top 10, is 7.2.
Yeah, I love it. That's I'll just kind of jump in here too and piggyback off that. Whoops, thought I was typing there. Oh, I was typing there. It's just black. That's weird. All right, so Bubba Wallace, and then I'll change that font to white here so we know what's going on. Oh my gosh, what has gone on here? But yeah, Bubba Wallace. Let me just fix this, and then we're back on the right track. There we go.
Yeah.
So everything that Ryan just said, I just had written down here a couple quick notes on him. Just over the last few years, only he and Byron have top 10s in over half the races at the larger drafting tracks, Talladega and Daytona, and they're not fluky numbers. Ryan had mentioned his stats. In that sample size I'm looking at there, he's ran the 4th highest percentage of his laps inside the top 10 in those races. So he is, always up there. So you just got to survive. But I like the guys that can get up there and run up there as the race goes on. So yeah, give me Bubba Wallace here with Ryan. Phil, we'll kick it to you. Who do you got here for 2311?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the majority here, Bubba Wallace, for all those reasons. I mean, you're going to hear me probably talk about the word consistency tonight. It's a thing that's very hard to find on super speedways, but when you do spot it, you have to kind of go with it. For me, data helps me feel better about these chaotic picks, and you guys kind of laid out the reason. I mean, last year some bad luck, but Bubba definitely shines on this track, and I'm hoping that we can cash in on him.
Beautiful. And I've already done it. So now we're on. I didn't have us in under 2311 there. So the first one, hopefully I got it out of the way pretty quickly on the show here. Now we'll jump to Front Row Motorsports, go to a Ford team here, which in qualifying did not look great so far for anyone that's got that on. And this team's always tough for us to pick, but should be a little easier here. I'm going to go first here, and I'll go with Todd Gilliland. And, in the Daytona races in Gen 7, there's only, I think, 2 guys without a top 10 finish. It's Denny Hamlin and Todd Gilliland. So I kind of just think he's due. He's got 4 top 10s in the 8 Talladega races in that time. And when I look at the underlying stats, and this is what I looked at to make me think there's some positive regression coming, he's running his laps pretty much the same, like same percent inside the top 10. I didn't see any glaring differences like, oh, maybe this guy's like awesome at Talladega and not great at Daytona. To me, it looked pretty much the same. He just couldn't get the finishes at Daytona. I don't think that can happen every single time. We were talking about a certain driver before the show here, too. We're thinking the same thing. You can't wreck every time. So give me Todd Gilliland here. I think he's due to bounce back and is my positive regression pick for the draft. Phil, I'm just going to jump right back to you. Who do you got here?
Yeah, send it right back to me. I'm looking around. Like you said, sometimes it's difficult to find an edge here with these guys, but I think I found one with Zane Smith. He's got 3 13th place finishes at Daytona. I will take that all day. Couple squirrely finishes, 30 plus, but decent enough starting positions for him. He's off to a decent start here. I look to my right here. I got his little truck win.
Hey.
I believe this is from Daytona. So this is just sitting here staring me in the face. I'm like, you know what? I got to go with Zane. So Zane just, being the best of the worst, I guess. I'm trying to get off to a good start for the year for him.
Awesome. I love it. Tino, you went first, so I'll let you go last in this team. And Ryan, I'm going to kick it to you. Who you got here for front row?
Well, I'm going to go with Phil. I'm going to go with Zane Smith. 2-time Truck Series winner, 3 for 5 at finishing 13th. The 2 times he didn't finish 13th, not of his doing. Early exits last year. 9th at Talladega last fall. I believe in Zane Smith.
Love that.
I love that pick. I mean, and again, it's like I love how Tino picked Tyler Reddick in the first one, because if there's any track to kind of pivot and be different and, gain some spots in the draft, it's Daytona. Mm-hmm. Tino, what are you going to do here now? There's still an opportunity to be a little different here.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not going to pick. And shout out to Zach for mentioning earlier on, right? Because the other different pick would be Noah Gragson. Time just got disallowed for breaking the hand rule, covering the little window net area, trying to get an advantage. I don't know what goes into the thought process of doing that when NASCAR said not to, but my point is I'm not picking them if that's the moves you're making in qualifying. Who I am picking is strength in numbers. Todd Gilliland always runs up front with the other Fords in Penske. Zane Smith, honestly, it's surprising to me how different he sort of runs in terms of Todd. Now, it's not a knock on Zane or Todd in either way, but I feel like Todd's more so leading laps, which obviously at Daytona could get him in more trouble. But if I'm going to pick either one of these drivers, I want someone that I know can work with the other guys, be there potentially at the end, like I said before. But ultimately, if you can lead laps for me, that's more points, hopefully. And then, hopefully I can win the draft with that too.
Beautiful. So we're split there, 2-2.
Perfect reporting. This is great. Zach's great in the chat because I got my TV on and can't hear anything. Noah Gregson's reasoning for breaking the rule was he forgot. So, okay. All right. Good to know. And while I am in the chat, I got to shout out Robert, who mentioned before, huge bounce back year for Tyler Reddick. I agree. So that's one of the reasons I picked him as well. Shout out to my boy K-Dog, M-Key, maybe Mikey K-Dog. Either way, today is his birthday. Happy birthday, 21 years old.
Happy birthday, K-Dog.
Cheers.
K-Dog will be at Daytona, truck race, and O'Reilly. Man, dude, awesome weekend. Wow. Happy for you. So shout out him. Happy birthday. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Sweet. Yeah, happy birthday, man. That's awesome. We'll jump to a Chevy team here. And Ryan, I'm going to let you kick this one off here with Hendrick.
Well, I was almost thinking about doing a pivot right here on the spot. Alex Bowman is really pulling at my heart, but I'm going to stick with William Byron. Obviously, back-to-back Daytona 500 wins, but do you know where he's running in the one prior to it? That he didn't win? He was actually running in third at lap 198 before he crashed in overtime. Overall, he's a 3-time winner, and this is an impressive stat of mine that I have for him. Let's see here. Since Talladega won 2023 minus 2024 at Daytona and last fall at Talladega, where he was obviously pretty good, until Carson wrecked him, Byron has a 5.9 average finish, and he's 8 for 9 at finishing in the top 10. So as long as he doesn't have problems, he's always right there.
Oh, yeah. I'll just, piggyback off that too. When we have picks where they're going to be the same and there's not much else to say about it, just kind of fill them in here. I'm also going William Byron. This to me was an easy pick, over the last, actually all Gen 7, the big, Daytona, Talladega races, his 8 top 10 finishes lead the entire field. So again, everything that Ryan said, and, I think Byron in that same sample size, 7th best average running position amongst everybody on all the big, Gen 7 drafters. So it's not like he's getting lucky. It's like Ryan said, he's running up there. So he's up front. And then he also does avoid things most of the time. So I don't know. Good combo, talent, avoidance, all that. Phil, jumping to you.
I will, holding Byron for maybe later. And I'm going with Alex Bowman. Ryan mentioned how he's tugging at his heartstrings there. Alex Bowman, again, the name of my game is consistency. This dude somehow is like sneaky consistent at Daytona. And it's pretty wild. 13.6 average finish in the last 8 races and all the next gen races at Daytona. That's third in all of NASCAR. Like Alex Bowman, what? No one ever really talks about him. Everyone's trying to put somebody else in the 48 as we go to Daytona. He could go out and win this thing. 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s, 6 top 20s. The guy keeps the car in the race. That's what you need to do when all the chaos and everything's falling down all around you. Just stay in the race, be there if there's a restart late. And he's always a threat to win the pole. We'll be finding out if those guys can get it done. But finishes of 5, 2, 6th, 6th, all within the last 8 races at Daytona. That's sneaky to me, and I love that. So go out, finish top 10, Alex, and I'll be pretty happy with this pick here. And by the way, my favorite bet of the week right now on a Wednesday, Alex Bowman versus Josh Berry on Caesars. It's -115. Win the Race has it fair at -179. It's punching down to me. So Alex Bowman all day for me right now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because our simulations have everything so flat too. Like we are downright mean simulating this thing.
I know.
And so when you find an advantage like that, you're like, whoa. But
Exactly.
I have it sorted here on the enhanced loop data on Win the Race, and I have a minimum race sample of 10, and then just all the Gen 7 races, Daytona, Talladega. He's raced 15 of the 6. Like most people have raced 16. He's raced 15 of them. But yeah, number 1 average finish, like barely eking out William Byron. Both of those two are the only two under an average finish of 15 in that sample size. So yeah.
The only thing that would piss me off is if he went out and won and I didn't have him in my bonus spot here. But imagine if he goes out and wins and just shuts up everybody talking about silly season, already for that 48. Like that would be wild. A good story.
Yeah, there's a number out there, I think 27-1, that might, tickle your fancy hair if you're doing your what do you call your bets?
The shotgun unit play?
Yeah, shotgun unit play. So I think that's going to be a part of that, I would imagine.
He was not actually, because
I'll find that book and I'll tell you, because I'm probably going to get it too.
All right,
Tino, what do you got here?
So this is a spot where I normally don't like to go with the guy that's trying to go for a record or 3 wins in a row. And I'm talking about William Byron. And normally, and that's the same thing that I said last year. So I think I'm just going to cut it at that. Pick William Byron here, stick with it, see him get 3 Daytona 500s in a row. Tino 3 Pete, thinking about it like that. But honestly, with how good he's been at Daytona and super speedways just overall, like we've seen, you guys read off the stats. I thought about pivoting to a different driver, different guy from this team. And the important thing that I also wanted to remember for myself is obviously this is our own show and our own weekly draft. But I wanted to keep in mind next week, Atlanta, another super speedway, another chance to potentially go with someone different there. So I'm good to go with Willie B in this one. Hopefully he stays consistent. I could see the signs of him being up there late at the end. That's the storyline. Whether or not he gets it done, I'm happy to have him on my team here.
Nice. I don't want to throw you for a loop, but you're going to lead off JGR right now as well.
Let's go. Well, this is a good one for me here, too. A lot of guys I like. First up, shout out to Brian Twining in the chat. He's tuned in. Mike Manning as well. Heim just qualified in on speed, so that's awesome. And our boy Zach saying it's time to pick the silliest winner in reference to his boy, Ty Gibbs. I don't think I'll get there just yet this week, but he is coming. I do have him winning a race this year. For this week, this one's going to be Denny Hamlin for me from JGR. Now, this one surprised me when I was doing my prep or research beforehand, and it was merely the fact that he hasn't been good at super speedways in this next gen era at all. With everything surrounding him, that he went through this offseason, losing the championship in the way that he did, I feel like it'd be the most Denny Hamlin-esque thing to win this race now. Stats, not, like I said, don't go behind it. If I was looking at stats specifically, I'd probably go with a guy like Christopher Bell, who starts up front or at least is there at the end. But for me, I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin just based off the storylines and seeing if he can sort of get back into, race winning shape, if you will, for the season.
Love that. I think this is a team where we could see quite a few different picks from us. I could make a case, I think, for all 4 guys if we're playing against each other here in JGR. Ryan, I'm going to kick it to you. What do you have here for JGR?
I'll go with the driver of the number 20, Christopher Bell. 3 for 6 at finishing exactly 3rd since 2013. And in those 2 of his outliers, he correct while running in the top 5. If you take away last year's Daytona 500, where he was wrecked late while running in 2nd, his average finish over this stretch is 7.6. And also, Christopher Bell has a dual 150 win, so he knows how to do it. He also wrecked at Talladega last spring while battling for the lead. So, I mean, there's no question he knows how to be at the front.
Yeah, he's always there. He always finds a way to just unreal talent everywhere we go with Chris Bell. He's one that him and Denny, obviously, I don't want to say obviously, that's kind of mean to Ty Gibbs, but like those are the big three I was thinking about. I wasn't really thinking about Ty Gibbs, but if you wanted to pivot, like, Phil, why don't you do your pick here? And then I know I'm locked in though. I'm not going to go Ty Gibbs. So do you want me to just say what I got? I'll just go.
You're teeing me up and then you're pulling me back. What do you want me to do here, boss?
You go.
I'll say to Zach, Ty Gibbs is in my shotgun unit play. I think he's a good guy to have, like for longer odds.
What number was that at?
Give me 1 sec. I have it on my sheet. I think I got him 35. But I'm going with Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe, I was riding the hot hand last year. It worked out for me. Still in the process of trying to buy a Chase Briscoe hat that I'm looking for because he did me so well. But he, last time we were on a super speedway, it was Talladega, who was our winner, Chase Briscoe. And at the 4 races last year, if you just small sample size, but in those 4 super speedways, I'm not counting Atlanta last year, he was second in average finish, third in driver rating. And the last 8 at Daytona, next gen, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, 4 top 15s, just like good numbers. His first, and that's split between 2 different teams, which I think is pretty impressive because it tells you that it doesn't matter what vehicle, what manufacturer you throw this dude in. Like, he's a factor. He's got a 3rd place finish. Hopped in JGR last year at the Daytona 500, started on the pole and finished 4th. So, just a guy that can get it done, keep it in the race. And I think he's going to ride this momentum from last year and hopefully cash me some points here. So, and it looks like, Ryan, you had Chase as well. So I stole all your time.
Everything you just said, and I'll just expand on last year a little bit because I really looked at last year just because that was the time in the 19, and I love what you said because it brought everything together. Mentioning how splitting between the teams still was a good pick here, but last year, there were only 6 drivers that ran a higher percentage of their laps inside the top 5 on the big drafting tracks than Briscoe, and it's the guys like that we've mentioned, Bubba, the 3, we'll mention, I'm sure, the 3 Penske drivers, Chris Buescher, Josh Berry, and then him. So it's like those were the guys that were running up front, drafting the majority of the time. So percentage of their laps at least. So yeah, I like Briscoe here, and I like how we have 3 different picks among the 4 JGR drivers. That'll make it a lot of fun to watch on Sunday. Now we get into it. Now we get into the guys who lead all the laps and win all the stages. And again, no wrong pick here, I don't think, between these 3 Penske guys. So I'll just kick it off here, and I'll let you guys go. Man, I hope your boy's on, Tino, because we're going Joey Logano to lead things off for Penske right here. Again, I just think Penske, he's the only Penske driver to not win on Daytona or Talladega in the Gen 7 era. He's got the Atlanta, victories, but, hasn't won on Daytona or Talladega yet, but that doesn't mean he hasn't been good there. He actually hasn't finished better than 27th in the last 4 Daytona runs. But I just think he's due. He's run 43% of his laps at Daytona inside the top 5 in the Gen 7 era. That's over 10% higher than the driver who's second best. He's number 1 in the Win the Race True Performance scores at Daytona in the Gen 7 races. I just think the man can't finish 27th or worse every time. And he didn't, because I think before that he finished like 2nd and 5th in the 2 Daytona races the year before. So, that's kind of where you tend to finish when you run up there. Although I know this can be a little wild, and he hasn't done it. It's kind of like my Todd Gilliland pick. Like, I just think some positive regression is due. Give me Joey Logano here. I don't want to miss out when he does go out, lead all the laps, win the stages, and finish well, especially if we're doing, this point system. So give me Logano. Ryan, I'm going to kick it to you. Who do you got here for Penske?
Well, I'm going to go with the low-hanging fruit on this one. I'm going to go with Ryan Blaney. He's like Joey Logano, but he doesn't do all that crashing. But, obviously, the most recent winner He won last summer. And in the Daytona 500 last year, he was wrecked while running near the front. But he actually earned the best driver rating, and he still finished 7th, despite, being caught up in Joey Logano's, crash. But I'll go with Ryan Blaney here.
I love it.
I also have
Tino?
a fun factoid, too, for him.
Go.
Yeah. Since 2020 minus his DNF level crashes, 4 for 12. Blaney has 2 wins, a 5.5 average finish, and he's 7 for 8 at finishing in the top 8.
Yeah, what? He's just a stud. And he's a fellow Ryan. So you can't go wrong with that. That's it. And did you see that mustache that he has? I mean, he's got a lot going for him right now. Tino, what do you got here for Daytona? Or for Penske, I mean, obviously.
Yeah. So, all right, this one is interesting because I think the biggest thing that threw me for a loop, if you will, is the removal of the big three. That obviously we had that last season, and that was a great opportunity for me to consistently pick Ryan Blaney and keep my boy happy and pick Joey Logano, especially at a super speedway. Don't have that option this year as my bonus. Calling it out now, not going to be a driver that some may expect. So who am I going with this one? It's the answer of, and now here is my cool little stat for you guys. Back in 2015, who played in the Super Bowl? It was the Seahawks and the Patriots. Back in 2015, who won the Daytona 500? Joey Logano. Gotta go with the signs there. Now, if you want to take it one step further, as qualifying is happening right now, if you don't want to take Logano, anyone out there listening, I can understand. He started 5th in that race. So to me, if it's either Joey Logano, it's the driver who starts 5th. If you want to take it another step further, I'll stay. You stay tuned because I'll have that answer for a later team that we'll talk about. But that's what I was thinking. You got to see the signs. I can see it now on the billboards. History repeats itself and everything like that. And another thing I want to know for Joey Logano, after taking a look at wintherace.info, his driver rating, 96. I mean, that's one of the best, if not the best, out of all active drivers at this track. It's because he's leading all those laps, because he's winning all those stages. And hopefully, if things calm down a little bit at the end, he won't get into any wrecks or misfortune, and he'll be able to take it home again.
Beautiful. Ryan, I told you before the show, there's no analysis that's out of the box. Everything counts here. So whether it's the signs, anything you have or can put together, it's great. Phil, what do you got here for Penske?
I will be making it an even split and going with my guy, Ryan Blaney. And honestly, guys, this is – no, I'm not doing Austin Cindric. This is a situation. The stats that Ryan ripped off about Blaney earlier are fantastic, and I've got stuff written down. I'd probably just be repeating a lot of it in a different way. But the fact that he's consistent enough for top 10s in 8 races, 50% hit rate, like that's a difficult thing to do. And he's got decent enough average finish, good true performance rank, like top 10, but to throw, I said this on my pod, little Olympics pun, Joey Logano is just all Swedish, no finish. He is the guy that I can't trust. And I don't know, unless I see it, I can't believe it at this point in time. So I'll ride another Daytona, betting against him here in this format, and be crossing my fingers that he can't finish the race. It's going to be brutal to sit there and watch him lead all those laps. But the fact that his driver rating is so great and his average finish is so bad, that's not consistent. That's not what I'm looking for. It doesn't fit my resume. So I'm going with Blaney.
Perfect. Phil, I'm going to let you stay right on this Ford train and roll right into RFK here for your pick.
Oh, hell yeah. Chris Buescher all day. He is the most consistent driver of anyone that I have written down. In the last 8 races in average finish, he's second in NASCAR, 11.6, second in driver rating. He's the only guy that if you look at those two stats is like boom, boom. Everybody has like the thing that they're better at. Chris Buescher is that guy. I love him for a top 10 this week, guys. FanDuel had him at like plus 160. He's just hopefully the guy that is leading that RFK group, but he fits in kind of perfectly with the other Fords, right? probably doesn't have to be leading like Logano or Blaney or Cindric, but he's just happy to kind of play his part. And he is 5 top 10s in 8 races Daytona. Come on. That's so good. So good. And that's good on a non-super speedway track, like that type of stat. So, Chris Buescher is just jumping off the page to me this week in terms of, a fantasy play, a top 10, and obviously in our format here.
Yes, sir. I'm just gonna, not much else to say there. I do have one thing that might shock people though, is that, Greg and I put a lot into our simulations, a lot of what we feel is great data. We've had good luck with it. The members have had good luck with it. It's tough. It's obviously more tough to do on a super speedway, but we've won super speedway bets. We've had success with them. And when we simulate this race 100,000 times, Chris Buescher has the second most amount of wins behind only Ryan Blaney, who you guys just talked about. So Buescher definitely alive here. And I mean, who better to work with than Brad Keselowski? And then Priest too was drafting really well with those guys up front last year. And then you might get LaJoie in here with you, who is more than capable to work with you and push you to the front. So I love it. Tino, let's jump to you. RFK pick.
Well, someone, Hockey Beef 597 in the chat, asking about Corey LaJoie, the Chili's bartender. As he's on track, he's the 99 car this week for RFK. Has a chance. This could be an interesting opportunity for me. I did think about it. I was very invested to potentially picking Corey LaJoie. What if he doesn't make the race? What do we do then? Do I get penalized for that? That's a very real possibility of happening. I don't think I can get behind him doing that in this one. I thought about going crazy, but I think I have a couple other guys that could fit the mold for that in this one. To me, Brad Keselowski, I'm just analyzing RFK as a whole right now. The broken leg doesn't make me feel that great. I know he's back from it. He's healed up and everything like that. But if he has to come out for any reason, I don't feel good. David Reagan goes into the car, just for people to know. And to me, I think it only leaves Buescher and Priest. I'm going to go with Chris Buescher in this one, just like you guys did. Just sort of narrowing it down in that way, seeing what drivers they have, in that stable. But also with that, I like that they do have another Ford. Like Corey LaJoie being in the mix there, actually, I think can help them get back to the front, because what we know about the Fords is obviously like the Toyotas have the least amount of cars, but I always feel like with the Fords running up front, something happens, takes the most of them out, and then they can't get back up there. I think Corey LaJoie will be a great pusher, and hopefully he pushes Buescher to the lead in this one.
Yeah, I think where LaJoie sits too is right behind like Heim and Allgaier, who I think got in on speed, and then LaJoie. So I'm guessing he's going to have a good starting position for the duels. I think he's going to have some strong duels. Even if he actually wouldn't have cared if he was, starting anywhere in the duels. Really, he's just a good drafter and can find his way up to the front. So, I love that. Ryan, who do you got here to round out RFK?
Complete the line, Chris Buescher. 5 for 6 at finishing the top 10 since 2013. One of only 2 drivers who swept the top 10 last year. And also at Talladega last year, the other big super speedway. He wrecked while he was leading in both races. So, I mean, there's no question he could be up at the front.
I love it. That's our first sweep of the night, boys, right there. Chris Buescher all the way across RFK. 4 picks
as
in a
he
row.
was qualifying too, and put the car fourth.
Oh yeah.
Really
So all right, there we go.
That was perfect time.
Cool. Awesome.
I will say one
All
thing
right.
though about Brad
Yes.
Keselowski. I've never seen a guy move faster on a cane. So,
Mhm.
if anyone's
you
worrying
go.
about it, he was pretty fast.
Yeah, I like Brad still. Yeah, I think there's pretty fair numbers out there if you're betting, but there is that worry, like Tino was saying. I'll just check the book and see if the bet's going to count. Maybe there's time to switch if it is during caution or something like that. Who knows? Or I don't know if you're allowed to switch in rain. I would imagine you could, but I didn't mean to say the R word. Let's just move on. So Spire is our next team here. Jumping back to a Chevy team. Honestly, I thought this team would be a lot faster tonight and just kind of weak. So I don't really know, what to say here about them. Tino, we're gonna let you kick this one off here for Spire.
It's an interesting group for sure. I love having them on the board, right? Because it makes you sort of look for any extra, poll stat number line you can. To me, I think of drivers, right, especially with this camp, how they're not going to go up front and lead laps. Who can work the best with other drivers in the pack? Who can help other Chevys, right, Chevy group get to the front? To me, I don't think people are want to work with Carson Hocevar in this one. I think I talked about next year, next week, alluding to that race in Atlanta. I'll say it now. I have my eye on Hocevar going to that one, not at Daytona where people can hang you out to dry. And same thing with Daniel Suarez. I don't think he's really made that many friends on the racetrack. Going to Spire, I don't think, I think he can do a good job there with that team, but it is Michael McDowell for me in this one. Just a steady pick. Zach mentioned him out as well in the chat. I just feel like he's got a chance to not win the race, but just have a solid showing, maybe a top 10 from him. I think that's where he runs most times at Daytona. He's able to be there. We saw him win it, obviously, a few years ago. It was a Ford in that time, but still, I just think the chance to be there, to be strong, to know what people can expect with him rather than the two other guys, I think that'll benefit him in this one. And yes, sorry, before I go on, the car does look fire. If NASCAR's trying to get us to say hell yeah, that makes me say hell yeah, and give a whole salute to that car. Oh my gosh, if you guys haven't seen it, Michael McDowell, car of the week. Let's go.
Awesome. Ryan, I'll kick it to you here. What do you got for Spire?
I think Carson Hocevar has the most aura, the most upside. I think Daniel Suarez, he actually had the best average finish at the big super speedways last year. But I'll go with Michael McDowell. I mean, he's just the consistent guy. 3 for 4 at fishing in either 11th or 12th last year at the big super speedways. Also, when you go farther back for his Daytona track history, he's 3 for 5 finishing between 11th and 13th. And one of his outliers in that stretch was actually the one race where he's the leader, but then he crashed in dramatic fashion. So I think he's the pick. I mean, there's also no question he'll do whatever it takes to lay it all out on the line.
Yeah.
He can do it.
And I ran out of room here, so he's Mike McDowell tonight instead of Michael. Feel bad. We got Chris Bell instead of Christopher Bell. I'll widen these things for next week so we can get their full names in there. But for now, it is what it is. Phil, you know who I'm picking here, right?
I don't know who you're picking, but
what?
Okay.
Well, I'll just do it. Carson Hocevar.
Okay.
I gotta go with my guy. So let's put a cowboy in there. So just Carson Hocevar. I just think that this could be a breakout year for him, and I think this could be where it starts. He's had terrible luck at Daytona, but did finish 11th here in the summer of 24. Multiple top 10s at Talladega. Awesome at times at Atlanta, where he could have even won. I would not be surprised to see him running up front, coming up through the field all day on Sunday. Just a matter of if he survives or not. But I do like that upside. So I'm going with what I think is, like Ryan said too, I think he's got a lot of upside. I'm going with the upside pick here. And I know it could bite me like it has many times picking Hocevar. But if it's going to be a breakout year, I think it could start here. I want to be on it. So get me Hocevar here. He's my guy in Spire. Phil, who do you got?
I'm going with Michael McDowell. I was staring down the barrel of a Priest versus Hocevar head-to-head and was trying to talk myself into Priest over that just because Hocevar has a little bit of Logano and I'm like, can't finish these races. So until I see it, I can't really go to that window. And with McDowell, it's like, actually I was staring down, I wrote down Suarez and then saw he looked like dog shit and pivoted here to McDowell. Because he's the one, like if I took Suarez, if I took Hocevar and it didn't work out, I would be pissed at myself. But taking McDowell, it's the safe pick, whatever. He used to be my sneaky Daytona pick every year before he was had the spotlight on him, before he won the 500. He was a great top 10 option, great value at that point. And so I got to go with him. If he screws up, I can't be mad at myself with that pick because I took the one that is supposed to be the more consistent driver and the one that is, least volatile. So McDowell is where I'm going to go.
Yeah, it's the opposite of my Hocevar pick where I say, you idiot, you did it again. And that's it's probably going to happen on Sunday. All right, well, let's move to Trackhouse. Another Chevy team here that I think been not too underwhelming. Zilich, I think, is leading the way there from that team. If I'm seeing everything correctly on the screen here, he's not going to make it in the final round, but looks the best of that group. I went with Ross Chastain, and this is strictly just kind of take the guy who's done it more often in a race like this. And we've seen him run up front at times on these big super speedways. I like his upside. He's won a big drafter in the Gen 7 era. Neither he or SVG finished top 10 on any big drafting track last year. And it's actually been 2 years now for Ross. So I guess, the theme of my positive regression, the Logano's, the Gillans, give me Ross Chastain here to actually run up front and remain there at the end of the race, which he hasn't done in a while. So give me Ross here. Phil, just kick it right back to you.
I'm going with a driver who did finish inside the top 10 on the Super Speedway last year. It was just in the O'Reilly Autoport series, and it's Connor Zilic. I was looking at his history and his career. Unless there's other stats out there that I can't find, I was looking at ARCA everywhere, like on his Wikipedia page. He only ran Daytona 2 times, and it was in O'Reilly last year. And first race of the year, not great. Adapted, went on his run, and won at Daytona. So he's 1 for 2 at this racetrack. I think for the Chastain reasons, like you mentioned, SVG I can't trust. I am just going to hope that this kid jumps in, tries to roll around the back, learn what he can first half of this race, and then kind of strike it, maybe let some other guys drop off a little bit, through the wrecks, and all of a sudden the 88's there late. That's my hypothetical that I'm creating in my head with this kid, but I just don't think that the other two are like awesome options. So I'm like, all right, why the hell not? Let's take a shot here.
No, that's perfect. Like, he could easily come in and just be, we already know he's mega talented, but in a cup car, like he could just come in and get it, just done. The Clash is what it is. At least he got him some experience in a cup car on a different type of track. But man, it'd be so much fun if he was there at the end of the 500. That would just be insane. It'd be nuts. Tino, let's kick it to you. What do you got here for Trackhouse?
Well, I thought I may have been the only one to risk it in that fashion with a driver that's an unknown like Zilic in terms of stats here. But when you put him up against the competition, just like Phil said, SVG, basically the same tier. And then Ross Chastain, he's going to make an aggressive move and get out of it late. I want a driver that's probably going to hang back figure out what a cup car feels like at Daytona, and then slowly, methodically work his way towards the front of the field. That's Connor Zilic. And if you want another Tino stat, in 2014, it was the last time the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl. Who won that Daytona 500? The driver of the 88 car, and Dale Jr. So now the 88 is back with Connor Zilic in it, who ran for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the O'Reilly Series last year. Just trying to find anything I can. 2015, it was Seahawks Pats. Joey Logano wins. 2014, the 88 wins. And the driver of that car started 9th. So if you're trying to pull anything else, anyone tuning in, 5th. The driver started 5th. We're watching qualifying right now. We don't know who that's going to be just yet. But 5th was 2015. I'm going to be whoever it is. I'm locked in on that. And 9th for the starting position of 2014 with the Seattle Seahawks Patriots storyline I'm going with, just to figure out anything I can when it gets to Daytona. So, I think Zilic could be good. It'll be fun to watch this group as a whole in Trackhouse.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. What do you have here, Ryan?
Well, I'm not going off the beaten path here, apparently, but I'm going Connor Zilic also. Hopefully he can drive a smart, clean race and stay out of trouble. And I think he can sneak in a good finish.
I love it. All right, let's head right into the bonus round. This is new. These picks are going to be big. You're going to get 1.25 extra points. Ryan, as the guest, I'm going to let you lead this one off here. What are you thinking here for your bonus pick?
Okay. Hopefully he's still here, but there's a very kind man out there, Rory, aka Rory's Picks. Some people, luck eventually changes. And I'm not a notoriously lucky person, but I won this card from Rory Picks recently. My lucky guess. That's Joey Logano, for the people on the phones, out there.
Oh, let's go.
But I'm going to go with Joey Logano. Obviously, he's got all the talent. Best driver rating, best average running position in the next gen. Last year at Big Super Speedways, best average running position, best driver rating. In last year's Daytona races, you could argue Joey Logano's the best driver in both of them, but Trouble got him. But I think Joey Logano's the guy to go for those 1.25 picks or points.
That is awesome. I You know what we'll do here then? I'm just going to jump to myself because I've
Oh,
had this
actually,
one
I
written
have
down.
one more
Go ahead.
talking point for this too. I'll ask you a little poll here. You know, obviously we're in a new year. Has anyone seen a shaved Joey Logano crash?
No.
See, it's not going to happen.
There
Different
you go.
Even
year.
year too. Even year. Joey Logano on even years.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Different times.
I love it. All right. Well, I had this one, just flip flopped, and you guys talked about it so much earlier. I don't need to, but Ryan Blaney's my 1.25x pick here for the bonus. I mean, you guys really just capped it off earlier in the Team Penske section. But again, and I mentioned it again when we talked about RFK with Buescher. The one guy we had beating Buescher in win percentage in our simulations was Ryan Blaney. Add that to everything you guys said in the Team Penske section. Give me Blaney here. I want it because the reason I had it switched around, and I totally understand what Ryan's saying too. The luck has to switch around for Logano at some point, which is why I picked him in Penske. But my original thought here was just I'll take the guy who's been finishing, and then I'll put him in the bonus. So that's why I chose this order. But again, no wrong answers here. Tino, you alluded earlier that you've got some sneaky bonus picks. So Phil, if you don't mind, I'm going to kick it to you, and then we'll let Tino shock the world.
Well, first of all, what Ryan did was like he's fitting right in here with this show. Like he totally, snaked us, kind of talked a little shit on Logano earlier, totally tricked us. To the point where like I kind of had Logano written down as like maybe I'll take him here. The fact that you guys are doing the flip flop, I'm out on that. I got to go with one Team Penske driver, and that's it. I also had Byron written down. You guys are all on Byron, so I have a chance to be a little different here. I don't want to be the same. Zach just said it. I have this guy written down. I hate that this guy is showing up right now, kind of like, being in everybody's face, but Kyle Busch is my pick.
Nice.
We are going to talk about, positive regression, Ryan. He was horrible last year on super speedways, but his first year at RCR, he was very good. And I actually like him for a top 10, plus 175 on FanDuel. I think that he, is very capable. 7th in average finish, the last 8 races at Daytona. That's obviously across a couple teams. 4th in driver rating with a top 5 and 4 top 10s, 6 top 20s. Like he can super speedway race. There was a time, I guess it was 2024. Like we were saying every week, hey, this guy is the best super speedway driver right now in the series. Last year was horrible. So we got to hope that they really just took everything, tore it apart, new crew chief, everything that they've done in the offseason, they're going to turn around. And could you imagine if he wins a Daytona 500, how that would just snap that team right back? So RCR winning wouldn't shock anyone. It's just more so Kyle Busch and his, story arc right now would be shocking.
Yeah, as of right now, he's on the pole and Dylan's 10th, so making the final round. So RCR has brought some speed. Briscoe, who's also on your team, is second right now in qualifying. So Phil's bringing some speed to the draft tonight.
Can't get too excited about it. Obviously, it's Daytona, but I just am hoping that they can, not wreck in the duels, keep it together and do their thing. But I'm hoping, honestly, I think we all last year talked a lot about Kyle Busch and how everyone's just kind of like, life is better when he's good in NASCAR. And so I think if he were to go out and do some damage on Sunday, that would be great. So I want to be a part of that.
Is he on your betting card right now?
He's plus 175, top 10 on FanDuel. That is
not your winners, not your shotgun winners.
No, I think he was too. I don't know. He's out on my shotgun.
I got him at 22, so I don't know if that makes your cut.
I was using DraftKings for it, so maybe DraftKings screwed me, but he did not. It needed to be 20 or higher.
Okay.
So I guess he was not.
I bet him. I'm with you 100% on this. I think it's great. My 4 bets to win as of right now, and I'll probably I like to have like 7 or 8 as long as the odds make sense and the profit makes sense if one of them does hit, just for fun Daytona 500 bets, similar to what you do. Like we do pretty much the very similar things for Daytona. But I have Busch at 22, Brad at 20, Bubba at 25, Buescher at 25.
Oh, yeah. Those are better numbers than what I've seen other than Buescher. I got Buescher at 25.
Yeah, so that's we're on the same page. We're going to do this.
Let's do it. You sure you don't want to change your pick?
No. Tina, that's you know what, you could have went Austin Cindric there, would have been pretty funny, but can't fault the Kyle Busch pick. Tino, what do you got here to round it out? Are we gonna see some excitement or what?
Well, I hope so. So the way I can break this one down, I feel like, is when you pick, especially at Daytona, there's three options. You can make a pick with your head, you can make a pick with your gut, or you can make a pick with your heart. And in this one, we see in NASCAR a lot of times through tragedy comes triumph, right? Dale Earnhardt, obviously in 2001, Dale Jr. goes and win it at Daytona when they return that same year. You know, I'm looking at Kevin Harvick as well, wins 3 races after Dale Earnhardt's passing that same year I just mentioned. What about Kyle Larson winning the championship in Ricky Hendrick's paint scheme? Similar things in the NASCAR world just seem to line up from time to time with, you know, moments like this that can be made. And I look at that 16 on AJ Allmendinger this week, the same font as Greg Biffle. Rip the Biff, a NASCAR legend, a hero, not in just the NASCAR community, a hero to everyone in the world, obviously, with the work he did. And it's such an unfortunate thing, but this is something that you see, I feel like, from time to time in a way to pay homage to him. And it would be something that I wouldn't want to miss out on, or at least not showcase. I'm thinking about it this week. It's such a special place in Daytona, such a special person Greg Biffle is, and RFK running the fonts as well. But to see it on that 16 AJ Allmendinger, it's not just a crazy, long shot pick. 5 top 8 finishes in the last 13 races at Daytona. Allmendinger's a driver that can run up there in the draft. He's experienced in it, and maybe, who knows, he'll have those angel wings on the car with them too at Daytona this year.
Dude, I love that pick. It's funny too this week because on the entry list they just wrote Anthony out of nowhere, and they interviewed. Yeah. Do you see AJ's interview today too? That was out. He's just like, I don't know why after 19 years they decided to write Anthony on there, but that's what they did. So he's like, that is my real name. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Should go by Tony.
Yeah, sorry, I got to use that in there so it fits in here. But man, what a great draft! We only had one sweep going across here. Chris Buescher for RFK is the only sweep of any team pick here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll enter these on, Win the Race. That'll score it for us. And then, Ryan, what we'll do is we'll post the scores, and then whoever wins, they'll pick the charity. Win the Race will donate. All great stuff. Tino, any more comments floating out there that we need to get to?
I'm excited. I was a little jealous. Phil took the Kyle Busch pick, but I couldn't have pivoted off of the Dinger play, so I am happy someone got him there for Kyle Busch. Like I said, in terms of race winners, I guess I didn't really mention Ryan Blaney this one. I do love Ryan Blaney to potentially win this race with how great he raced there the last time we were at Daytona. The qualifying 9th. It may sound crazy, people, but if you're trying to find anything to help you with Daytona, it's those little signs that may be it. Otherwise, I'm really excited for this race. I think it's going to be a great one. I hope, obviously, like we said, the weather could play a factor, but either way, I hope it goes green until the end. If we see some overtime, let it be something with the drivers actually finishing the race this year and not ending under caution. That's what I want to see from the Daytona 500 this year. But you guys can follow me for more Tino action and content at Tino PATTIGNO right over there. I'll be on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio on Friday morning, giving my best bets, which will be updated obviously after qualifying happens. So that'll be great to sort of get that narrowed down and see what the odds are looking like. But I'm happy to be on with you guys. Ryan, shout out to you. You did a great job. As Phil mentioned, too, master job of doing the pivot play and the swap at the end with you had me, too. You had me fooled. So that was really great. I'm excited to see what more bonus plays can happen this year.
Awesome. Thanks, Tino. Phil, where can everyone find your good work? We got a truck race Friday night, Phil.
I got my Corey Heim Truck Championship shirt on because I'm fired up for this truck race, boys. This is going to be. I think I might be more excited for the truck race on Friday night. That is the most loaded race I've ever seen. So yeah, I'm hoping to get something out there on YouTube for that. So give that a look. Full Tank Truck Talk video, and yeah, Full Tank with Phil's name of the podcast. Give it a look. I mentioned the shotgun unit a bunch tonight. We talk about what the hell that is, in case you're wondering what the hell that is. So give that a listen, see who we're on. And yeah, appreciate Ryan jumping in tonight. This was great having first guest of the year. What a way to kick it off. Just a legend in the space. So really appreciate you. Hats off. And happy to be back, boys. This is great. And looking forward to it. This can be interesting start to the season.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. And Ryan, I'll kick it to you. I think pretty much everyone knows where to find you, but if you want to tell them, the website, your handle on X, everywhere they can find all your good stuff you're posting all the time, please let them know right now.
Well, obviously my website, you can find me on X at iFantasyRace, Facebook at iFantasyRace. But one thing to keep an eye out, for the future, so do notice this Ninja logo, which is brand new for this year. Keep an eye out because I do have a new domain, Cup Ninja, and I plan to actually use it. So,
oh, nice! I love that. I love that logo too.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, sweet.
Fired up now. Let's go. I'm staying tuned for that.
And as always, all the data that I'm, looking at, talking about throughout the shows, wintherace.info, check that out. Check out iFantasy Race. We do have the games though. I do want to mention that. So if you are on Win the Race and you're not in the one and done, join the one and done. I mean, it's for members only. It's free to join. So if you are a member and you're not in there, make sure you make your pick before the race on Sunday. It will forgive one low week. So if you do have a bad week or forget something, you're not, completely out of it. But costs nothing to join if you're a Win the Race member. We'll give you $1,000 if you win it at the end of the year. So join that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be checking out the leaderboard all year. And then also members play, the draft with us. So pick your 8 guys, pick your bonus driver. That'll all be scored on Win the Race as well. And I think what we'll do for that is probably $500 to the winner and a free year of Win the Race, something like that. So I'll be posting that before the weekend here. We'll get that all tied together and everyone, joining that as well. So should be a lot of fun. I appreciate everyone, tuning in tonight. Ryan, thank you again for joining us. It's been a pleasure and great to finally talk some racing with you, face to face. So thank you everyone for listening. Good luck this weekend at Daytona, and we'll see you on the other side.